Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and now that all of the film has been watched and the grades are finalized, it's time to break down the 2019 NFL Draft prospect rankings. Before we dive into the prospect rankings video, let's take a look at how we go about grading these guys on film. For the skill positions, we take a look at a prospect's best and worst games statistically and the best matchup before we finalize his film grade. And from there, the player is assigned a grade on a 100-point scale. We don't believe in the term backup per se. If you're in the NFL, you're one of the best players at your position, so we consider you a starter in waiting, or at least that's how I would look at it if I'm a GM or a head coach. So without further ado, let's dive into the video with our number one graded prospect at the position. Jonah Williams of Alabama graded out as a top offensive tackle prospect in the 2019 class, and what stood out to me the most about his game was his patience. It affords him the opportunity to stay in control and be able to react and redirect throughout the course of a ball game. Rarely is he beaten initially by a defender. He has top-notch footwork to pull, kick out, climb to the second level, and does it all with great balance as well. You can even make a case for him kicking down inside and becoming a top-notch guard also. He's one of the best offensive linemen in the draft that has the skills and athleticism to be a fantastic pro. Looking at the rest of the top 10, and there are some very good prospects here that can have early success as rookies. Jawan Taylor of Florida is very light on his feet and is a great athlete as well. I'm also a big fan of his hand usage. And speaking of hand usage, Dalton Reisner of Kansas State can quickly reset his hands to find the right spot to keep a defender out of the way. Yadani Kajus of West Virginia and Titus Howard out of Alabama State have a great blend of athleticism and power. Both guys, I believe, can play either tackle spot in the league. And as you may have noticed, both San Diego State offensive linemen made it into the top 10. Tyler Romer is one of the more functionally strong linemen in this draft class. He has excellent core strength and uses it really well on both ends of offense. His teammate Ryan Pope is sound in his technique, uses his hands well, and has a keen eye for stunts and twists. Both guys are going to be really good at the next level. Moving on to prospects 11 through 20, and small college prospect Devin Johnson of Ferris State has fantastic feet and athleticism. His hand fighting skills are great, and he does a great job of keeping the defender's own hands away from him, which keeps him in a position of control. Pad level is where he'll have to work at as he moves forward, but look for him to test well in Indy, and it'll definitely match up with what you see from him on film. He is one of 4 small college linemen to make the top 20. Josh Miles of Morgan State, who I've done a lot of his broadcasts, Ali Udoh of Elon, and Trey Pipkins of Sioux Falls. All 3 guys are coming off really good weeks of work at the East-West Shrine Game, with Udoh having double dip at the Senior Bowl as well. Cody Ford is an intriguing prospect to me. Is he a tackle or is he a guard? That's the big question that's going on around in the scouting community. He's got good hands and strength, but his footwork can get a bit sloppy at times, and that's where I think he'll have to clean up a bit as he moves forward. But once he gets his hands on you, it's pretty much lights out. Matt Caskey of Dartmouth was impressive on tape, and when I saw him live versus Yale this season, he's got great movement skills and is able to do a lot of things in a running game from the tackle position. He plays with a mean streak and is patient in how he approaches pass protection. To me, he's going to be one of those guys whose names you'll begin to hear a lot of around the pro day circuit, but make no mistakes about it, Caskey has legit game. Looking at the rest of the prospects 21 through 30, I think both Delroy Baker out of Indiana and Benjamin Knox of Colorado State are very underrated players. Bobby Evans of Oklahoma is yet another talented offensive lineman coming from that Sooners program. And Chidi Okeke is an early entry from Tennessee State who just seems to pump out NFL linemen each and every season. One name and program that you may not recognize is Maurice Simba from Concordia up in Canada. I was able to see him dominate this past May at the East-West Bowl up in Quebec City, Quebec, and he ended up earning an invite to the NFLPA game this past January. The scary part about his game is that he could get even stronger. He moves really well, like a power forward almost, or even a tight end. This helps him compete down after down in the running game and also in pass pro. Now, technique-wise, he has some ways to go, but the raw skills, athleticism, and the want to are there for someone to take a chance on him in the NFL. He's also a top CFL draft prospect. Dino Boyd transferred to Cincinnati from Rhode Island, where he made quite the name for himself there and was an NFL prospect with the Rams and was able to make the step up in class pretty seamlessly. At the College Gridiron Showcase, I thought Boyd was one of the more consistent tackles in attendance, showing very good athleticism as well as versatility. Boyd checked in at 32 on our list, and looking at the rest here, Ethan Greenwich played a lot like Cody Ford at Oklahoma. He's a big mammoth tackle that punishes defenders in a running game. I thought he actually dominated against Temple in their upset win at Villanova. Noah Bay of Delaware is a former Penn State Nittany Lion that transferred down and had a solid career with the Blue Hens. He was also excellent during the All-Star circuit as well at the FCS Bowl and also at the Tropical Bowl. UTEP's Gerard Brooks is a player that still has some upside left in his game. I liked his athleticism and his ability in pass pro, and if he can continue to add weight and strength, he'll be able to smooth out the rough edges in his game that's in a run blocking department. I think he can get up to 315 and not lose any of that top-notch athleticism that he possesses. Messiah Rice of Hampton, Alex Thompson of Charleston Southern, and Brandon Hittner of Villanova are more FCS prospects that have been properly developed along the offensive line. Jackson Barton is a solid player coming from a strong Utah Utes program. And rounding out the list are two more small college prospects in Daniel Cooney of San Diego and Dustin Rogala of Mercyhurst, who could also see time as a guard as well. So that's a wrap here from the Football Game Plan Studios. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast. We can find our Scout Team podcast, which has a lot of 2019 NFL Draft prospect interviews. And also be sure to subscribe on YouTube to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan.